Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the Muskego Park Crit Cat 3-4 in beautiful Muskego, Wisconsin. This is more of a circuit race. We're actually in a park, lots of climbing. Each lap is over 100 feet of climbing. We did 277 average watts, 322 normalized, 25.4 miles an hour. It was over 50 minutes, 175 3 heart rate, and it was about 21.3 miles of total racing. This is my first time ever racing in Muskego. It is part of the Illinois Cup Series. Even though we're in Wisconsin, the Illinois Cup Series is a multi-race, year-long or season-long omnium, where the winner gets free entries into Illinois Cups the next year. Illinois Cup races the next year. We're following DeGroot right now. The start-finish line was separate, so the start line they had us get kind of bunched up in a group. For staging, and then the start line was more on this flat part of the climb because the finish is on a pretty steep part of the climb. So top right we have our slope, so that'll be important for this race. We had giant amounts of wind coming out of the west. So right now it'd be coming out of our right. The course is kind of like a big square or a rectangle, and so right now we have a wind between 10 and 20 miles an hour out of our right. And as we go down this left turn, we'll have a tailwind and then a crosswind, headwind up the hill, and then a headwind as we transition from the uphill to the downhill. So as some of you might know, and some of you may comment, I am not the smallest dude. I am over 200 pounds, and I am racing Cat 3, and I don't have a 500 watt FTP. And so I have to be strategic about how I handle hills because my FTP watts per kilo is about 3.1. My FTP is about 320. I weigh about 90 kilos. And so going up a lot of climbing, racing against these skinny boys, I have to sag often. And because this climb is, a quarter mile or longer, I have to sag for the whole distance and somehow manage my power. So you'll see my power on the left. I'm usually doing between 450 and 500 up these climbs. And I am not going to do a single chase down of anybody going up this hill. It just won't go well. So quickly looking at the course, just over a mile long. We still haven't completed a full lap. This is kind of the first climb, and the wind out of the left, or kind of straight on left. You can see the flag there on the blue on the left. Right here, the climb slightly flattens out, so it's not quite 4%, 3%, 2%. It's like 1% right here, 2 to 1%. It says flat. It's not quite flat, but there is a giant headwind, and then it kind of re-kicks up here as we go past the start-finish line, which was these flags here. So this is where we started, and that is one lap complete, even though the finish line was behind us just a little bit of ways. So we're going into lap 2, and so my plan was to sit in the draft here, recover from the climb. My heart rate is this is lap 1, already 180. And so right now we have a giant headwind, and our field was about 50 people, so it's pretty solid. So I am just trying to stay in the draft and recover so that I can use my best friend, which is gravity, which allows me to go down hills a lot faster than pretty much anyone else in this race. And so I can use minimal power to go down the hills extra fast, get to the front of the race, use the tailwind to maintain and extend that little gap, and then kind of go into the climb with a lot of speed and let people come around me to give me protection not only from the wind but also provide a draft up the hill. And that was my plan: sag up, pass everyone on the down. And so here is, I think, the highest point on the course was right about here. And so there were two ways to pass everyone. We had the left line, which is kind of the inside, and then the outside right, which was often always open. This is our second lap, so still learning how the race is going to happen. And I think we did about 13 or 14 laps of this, 13 or 14. It's a mile-long race, so obviously we did like 21 laps or something. And so it took a while, and you can see these skinny boys can't go downhill like your thick boy friend over here. And so we're doing almost 40 miles an hour, which is pretty damn fast. Here is the tailwind section. For some reason, Insta360 and Wahoo Fit files don't overlay GPS that well. They really suck actually at it. And so the bottom right, you'll see that we're a little bit behind with our on map. So that is Muskego. Overall, this race was weird. It got a little sketchy at the top of every hill, and that's just something that we'll note later in this race. And so this is 2 laps completed. I'd find myself on the right side here, just trying to allow people to come around me, make them work more in the wind. So We're going to jump up ahead a little bit. We're another lap in, and this happened to me a few times where I almost got dropped, and not going to lie, that hurt a lot. So we're doing 650 watts, 700. That's a ton of power, right? And this is, we're 4 laps in. And so I was trying to get in the draft as much as possible. Everyone here has a better watt per kilo advantage, so I have to race smart and conservative and kind of know, what my strengths are, which are downhills and cornering, and just trying to be a more strategic rider, right? Being patient. So here we go. Here's me. I'm doing tons of work uphill. We're doing 400 watts, trying to get in the draft. We have my teammate on the left who is about to come up. And so this happened quite a few times where we're going into the headwind and I need to close down. But luckily, once we're up here, it's relatively flat and I can punch through the wind pretty well, sustaining 300 watts. And so then I'd coast into the back of the group. And then this would allow me to catch back in and take the downhill relatively quickly. So from here, for just learning purposes, there's 2 options. I can take the inside line, which is pretty busy right now, and I have to hope it's going to open up, or I could have just taken the right side, which is not protected, and then had 0 traffic. And so often I made the decision that the inside was the better move. First off, I didn't cut off anyone behind me if I did a random move to the right. Here's my teammate Luke. And speaking of that, we had 4 teammates in the race. Unfortunately, 1 was dropped relatively early on, so 5 okay riders. So usually what would happen is this side would open up. That family on the left, they knew there was a bike race coming, and they decided to basically stand on the course. So anyways, but coast down, 26, 27, 0 watts. Do we hit 40 miles an hour? Boom, 40. My max speed for this race was about 42 miles an hour, I believe. So often I would come here, and then I would make the decision whether I put in extra power to try to get further in this group, or just coast and try to recover as much as possible. And so when you look at my heart rate data after the race, it's just up, down, up, down, up, down, usually peaking about 180 to 185 heart rate, and then back down to about 155 to 160 each lap. And so, with this, you want to pick your line early. And, most Cat 3 riders, they're basically still novices, so they don't know how to corner that well. They'll leave a good amount of space on the inside, and so you can always take that little bit, 1-2 foot, and then your body is up over the grass, and that allows you to corner fast and maintain speed on the inside. So, and then this is the plan. Back up the hill, maintain a good draft, and in this case, I'm lucky. Got a lot of guys punching the wind through me, and this is how you climb as a heavier rider, especially on courses where it's the sustained long climb. This is, if you're not overweight, then you might not know this, but this is by far the hardest part. The punchy short climbs aren't the biggest deal in the world. So even though there's transition, we didn't really jump ahead. And so this is just a great example of some sketchiness that might happen. This rider on the left here with this green aluminum bike was not a fan of. He was a squirrely guy, and you will see him actually run into the back of some tires later on. But what would happen is on laps when there was either someone up the road or there was no attacks, and so the field was relatively quiet, it would bunch up early like this. And so, people would relax, and others were like, get really antsy. And so this case is someone on the right who is getting a little antsy and proceeds to run his bike into the back of somebody. So stuff like this would happen. Boom, he just takes himself out. I think he got back in. But sometimes it's best to give some space to the guys in front of you and just relax and be calm. Like this was a chill time. Everyone's recovering a bit. No need to crash yourself out like that, which was, he was okay. It was pretty funny though at the time. So we've jumped ahead quite a bit, 5 miles in to about 18 miles in. We had a breakaway up the road that was Chase and someone else. They actually got like 25 seconds on the field, but the climbing mixed with the headwind, I think, really broke them. And so 3 laps to go roughly, or 4 laps to go, something like that, each lap being a mile. I'm starting to think, how do I help my teammates out? I have 0 chance in hell of winning this race or podiuming or getting a podium or, anything. And so I am trying to find my teammates, and I want to give them the best strategic option possible. Floyd on the right here is a climbing boy, and so I'm talking to him right now, trying to get a sense of what he's looking for me to happen. And so when you're crit racing, it's good to communicate with your teammates. That's why you have teammates. And if you're all in this for yourselves, then obviously then there's no point, but I know I'm not going to do that well in this race. And so at this point, I'm trying to learn, what his plans are. I'm also looking towards Andy and Will, who are also my teammates, and they're able to do this climb pretty well. And so I'm trying to learn what they would want to happen based on what they've learned during this race and what they have seen. And so here's this sketchy guy on the right. This guy. He almost crashed himself out a few times, and this is not the only time he ran into the back of other people's tires. Anyways, so he basically told me, and I don't know if you could hear it, he told me just stay in the front group the best you can and try to get a lead out on the downhill. And so I'm like, sir, yes, sir. That's a relatively simple thing for me to do, and chill until that point. So 2 laps to go, we've got up ahead, and I want to get to the front. And so I had a lot of momentum and just carried it in the grass. I like racing cyclocross, and this grass was super smooth. So I'm like, all right, I'll scoot ahead. I'm sure it pissed off a few people, but you know, it was clean and not a big deal. So we're looking back at me, and I'm just trying to get a sense of what the field is doing. When we talked to Floyd, half a lap ago or 3 to go, whatever it was, he was giving me the sense that he was maybe looking at 2 to go, but it was probably 1 to go. And I think there was slight miscommunication, which caused me to, I didn't really need to be on the front here, but it allowed me to kind of get ahead and, sag the climb and set myself up for the best opportunity possible. So we have DeGroot from Team Wisconsin. He's by far the most marked rider in the field. Here we have some of his teammates coming up. We got Blazers, who are a local team, and Floyd, who is marked DeGroot. We have LAPT Adam, who's actually ends up getting second in this race, and he's done really, really well this year in the Cat 3 field. My teammate Andy. And so we're going into about 1 lap to go after this last corner in this lap. Here's Connor, our gracious host. He actually, we stayed the night at his place because his place was like 20 minutes down the road. So that was pretty fantastic. So we're going up the climb now, 1 lap to go, and I'm feeling relatively okay. We're at 167 heart rate. I've only needed to throw up once during this race. I was coming up the climb one of the times about halfway through, and it was like I just needed to evacuate some fluids, but luckily I didn't. We have Chase moving up the left, so this is fun to see. We have Triple X on the left, so a lot of people are moving up on the windy side, so they're burning themselves out. We have my teammate Will on the right here, who is very protected. And I have maintained a pretty good spot. I didn't have to do too many watts to maintain this because we're getting such a good draft and echelon draft off the people from the left. And so my job now is to get back to the front. We have another teammate, Andy, just off our front here. And so I'm looking left and right. I'm trying to understand what is the best way possible for me to move up. And based on 20 laps of racing, the outside is usually the safest and always consistently the most open. And for the most part, racers don't really change what they do the last lap. If you're strategically trying to do something, then you might change it the last lap, and that's what I'm doing here is taking a line I normally wouldn't do. Luckily, this Canyon guy decides to put down some power. I think Andy actually jumps on my wheel right here, and I need to get to the front of Floyd. And so I come around him. We got Adam and Connor here on the left for LAPT. We got one of the Devo guys who are fast as can be. So all the hitters, though, are making their way to the front. We have my teammate Will on the left here. He's getting a nice draft. And so I'm trying to make my way up. And what I should have done is put down a lot more power to get to the front to give my teammate Floyd the best opportunity possible. Instead, we have Andy on my wheel and I think Will, who are getting a great draft. Connor's calling out the right to Adam of what his plan is going to do. And so I am following. I see Floyd here. He's getting a good draft from DeGroot, or one of the Wisconsin guys. He's now died. And so Floyd, I think he's going to end up not doing too well. But you can see they bump shoulders. They caused me to go really wide because I thought they were going to crash right in front of me. So I lose a little bit of time. It allows Connor to pull through with Adam. Andy's still on my wheel, and I'm going to try my best to just maintain this outside line. My teammate Will has gotten a good draft, and he's in a solid spot. But we have Andy right on my wheel. We're doing 40 miles an hour. This is going to be a fast corner. This is by far the fastest we've gone into the last corner, but at least it's super smooth, super wide. You can pretty much pedal the whole thing. And here I'm just trying to keep up with Will the best I can, but this race really kind of broke me. Andy then makes this gap. We have Kima from Indigo who jumps on Andy's wheel, and then they start going. And I should have just started sprinting here. I was just so toasted and cooked after this, but I end up getting 25th place. My teammate Andy, who's on my wheel, gets 5th. Connor with a 3rd place, Adam with a 2nd. Congrats to those guys. Barrett Clickenbeard, I think got first, one of those the Devo kids, and I just keep getting passed here by everybody who's a little bit lighter. And you saw I was doing way more watts earlier in the race, but at this point I'm cooked, and Floyd unfortunately got cooked as well. So I pull over here and proceed to basically pass out. Anyways, thanks for watching. That's Muskego. Bye.